from our holy brother here. And it was a pleasure. We already had a Shalom Aleichem from Nissan Black, thanks to our friend Pinchas here. And even more important than Nissan Black, and Nissan would agree on this one, we're going to make a dedication to my son, BORUCH YITZCHAK ben MASHA. He is in Lebanon as we speak. It's a miracle my wife let me come to England. So shout out to my soulmate, MASHA, literally, because she's. So we're not videoing this, which is good because we want to keep everything internet clean and not make any balaganim. This is the footage of my son right now in Lebanon. The place is, Baruch Hashem, is different to Gaza. It's a different vibe. This is my oldest son. He's got his DJI GoPro. We're just jumping straight into this, then we'll get into my other discussion that sort of connects. When is this video from? This is this whole year. He's been basically, to give an intro, he joined the army when he was 17 or so. He was my only son that sort of didn't work out with the school system so well. He's a tough kid, and he ended up in a program called Hilla. I don't know if you heard of Hilla. Shout out to Hilla. Good place. Really amazing people. And what they did is that within that time, they got him off the streets and into the army, which is what he needed. And he ended up in a called Habed HaShomer. Habed HaShomer, it's around 400 kids, most of them have criminal records, not saying bad, but that's just where they're at, just as you can understand. Miracles and miracles my son didn't. And anyway, so he was in Habed HaShomer, and then from there they got him, he basically, from 400 kids, there was only 3 boys who ended up Mitzianem, who got the best, in terms of the service there, and he ended up in being 3 of the boys who were Kravi. The rest, all great boys and did great things, but he went into being Kravi, becoming a fighter. And I think he's maybe 1 of 2 that are still doing it, during this war as well. Because one of them, there was a whole story that happened. So from a whole group, he ended up in 101. He's a negavist, a machine gunnist, as you can see walking around here. And I've got a tremendous amount of videos that I'm going to quickly just fly through a tiny cross section of them, just because there's a lot of shooting going on, a lot of bombing going on. These are houses in Gaza. So he started the war right after October the 7th. He just finished his training. He just made shalom with some American dude that he beat up because he was flashing his credit card when he worked in the fluffy store and making fun of him. So he made shalom with that dude. Everything was in a good place. He just finished his training. Everything was in a good place. He beat up the local pedophile. Everything was good. Yeah, everything was cool. And now he's going off to Simchas Torah just to do normal service like everyone was. Simchas Torah kicked off, and his whole life. Yeah. When, by the way, they shoot a lot. It keeps the enemy away, if you know what I'm saying. So he's a machine gun. So this is running through Gaza, yeah. And it's that day, he had to get called up on Simchas Torah, and it was a crazy day, crazy day. And Efrat, there was sirens going off everywhere. Yerushalayim, my son's with Yerushalayim, sirens going off. You'll know, you've all heard about it. October 7th, Simchas Torah. But now my son has to get in a car. He borrows my daughter's car and he drives off. Quickly comes to get a blessing from me in shul, because I was in shul, even though I probably should have run home by that point, but I was that kind of guy. And he got a blessing from me, and then he drove off and to war. And he was at 101, so he went straight into Gaza and straight into combat. And that continued throughout the war for 11 months in Gaza. And then he had about a month or more in Lebanon. He's on his 4th mission. He's quite far into Lebanon right now, and this one's been a long one. Phone taken away each time, obviously, so they don't have a phone. They can't be traced. I mean, this is hardcore. And he wasn't even trained to be a machine gunnist, but the machine gunnist got injured during combat. That was a famous video that went around near the beginning part. His ear got sort of blown up, and so my son, they needed someone to fill in that space, so he came in and just on the job in Gaza learned how to be a machine gunnist, and he's become so good that he's actually I want to praise, he's my son, why not? When he goes to the shooting practice and stuff, there's all these other people there, and they all can learn from him. He's really picked it up. You have to be strong. And his unit, this is an Gaza,
As in, you're never alone.
He's got his unit, yeah.
Imagine, is it behind him? Because is he the guy in the front?
He's always got a guy with him. There's someone who's with him. There right now is this huge guy. They called him Pitsy. You know what Pitsy? But he's massive. It's like a joke, yeah. And then before they had a Ukrainian, tough Ukrainian, whose father was fighting in the Ukrainian war with Russia. That's with all his smoking. He smokes a lot. Yeah? Sorry. Yeah, there are people around. I mean, there's even a shootout on these videos where one of his friends in the other building gets blown up, unfortunately, and he sees it with his own eyes. There's some crazy footage. Like it's not normal what I've got here. Capturing terrorists, capturing armaments, finding tunnels. Yeah, the famous stories you saw in the news. That was his unit. His unit were involved with killing Sinawar. Him specifically, he was in Lebanon then, but a lot of his unit who went to become captains were involved in the drone footage and everything else. Like, it's been full on this whole year, and every time I look in the news and then I speak to him afterwards, you know, it's also, he's sort of going through a bit of trauma right now. I mean, this is a powerful one. This is in Lebanon during Rosh Hashanah, one of the higher-ups blowing the shofar. Like, that's powerful. And they found rimonim, like pomegranates that day. They found honey cake that the previous unit must have left. It was like miracles. Like, this is the whole thing. They're going through a miraculous experience where they're in tremendous danger. They've been with snipers, all kinds of things. And thank God, you know. And by the way, some of these boys are from the most Hilani, what they call Hilani families, who are even anti somewhat the war. But these kids are on fire. They're on fire. There's been like a change in the Israeli army where they're much more on fire for God, for
the Arabs.
Yeah, they want to do their shlichus, you know, their agency.
Kill the Arabs.
Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, not all Arabs. The ones that are terrorists. Anyway. So when you go Lolu, I'll stop. Yeah, you'll let me know, and we'll get into the rest of the actual what I came here to discuss. I just wanted you to get a little bit of an intro of what I've gone through this year. Yeah, this is in Lebanon like a few weeks ago. So everything has to be done, and they have to run. They have to be communicating together. They're constantly in touch with higher ups. I mean, look at the quality. You know, there's footage here of them blowing up buildings. They've learned how to use Santex and fuse it and blow up. There's footage of them rocket launching buildings. One of his boys is an Indian guy, amazing guy. This Indian soldier's one of the best. There's footage of them working out together. It's like David Goggins style. Anyone follows him? They're like, no, I'm telling you, these guys on the batteries, on these batteries up and down, huh? So they're up and down on the batteries. They're lifting the batteries because they use the batteries for electrics, but they're using it as weights, and they're proper like schwitzing in the heat of the summer in Gaza, doing out workouts in the houses. Yeah, shh, guys. So that's all this whole thing. What else is going on?
These Indians, Ukrainians, are they non-Jewish soldiers?
Yes, the Ukrainians not Jewish, but they love the Jewish people. They believe that the Ukrainian guy. No, this Ukrainian guy. Please, enough of the generalizing. Sorry, just please. Yeah? Just please listen. I want to tell you a different way of thinking. It's important. Part of David Gordon's success is he's got an open mind. Listen. Yeah. So the idea that the Ukrainian in his army, he loves the Jewish people, and he knows that Mashiach's coming by us. Yeah? That's my son just shooting. They're shooting into other apartments. Doing a little dance here. Yeah, I don't no insult. I just want you to just we can always say things, but it's harder to actually do things. Yeah, it's a different thing. So anyway, here's the rimonim they found. He was so excited. He was so excited when he found the rimonim. Yeah. That he was dancing around. I mean, there's so many videos like they found the most amazing hookahs, like hookahs from sultans, you know, like beautifully carved ivory. Nagillas, yeah. No, hookahs. Hookers. Is that weird?
Everyone here.
Nagilas. Yeah, you knew what I was saying.
I knew what he was saying because I don't
Yeah, they're full of Iranians, but like,
Yeah, they found prostitutes. They actually have not. That's one of the hardest things. They really are a righteous army. They do not do stuff for a couple of women. Man, don't leave. We're just getting going.
Haven't they?
Huh? No, they haven't. They really. I'm telling you, I don't know about what the Lashon Hara. You can always find some YITZCHAK, but 1 minute. I'm talking about what I'm hearing from my son, who's a righteous person who says the truth, and he's saying they're not interested. They have rules. Like my friend, he has a daughter in the army, and she runs the missiles. That they shoot back to the Iron Dome or when they're doing any bombardments. So she was asked specifically to come out of that position just to accompany a bunch of Arab women terrorists because they don't want to put men with Arab women, like in the car or in close situations. No, they are almost, I would say, 100%. There's loads of lies. There's loads of negativity. We're getting encouragement tonight. You can go look at the news and all the horrible stuff they say about us. It's all there. We're getting encouraged. We're saying the good stuff tonight, okay? Because we need to come out here feeling good about our people. I need to feel good. My son's there. I don't want to be thinking like the other way. Yeah.
I know. If
so,
we're having a discussion, I'm asking
I know, but emotionally, I'm involved. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I want to feel good about it, and I believe my son. He's a truthful person, and so he's saying they're so careful to not do anything like that.
But do you live in Israel?
Yeah, I live in Israel, man. I live in a frat. My wife's armed, by the way, and that was one of the things my son said. He said, make sure my wife gets armed because she does Magen David Adom, which means what? She's helping the Arabs. Yeah, that's part of Magen David Adom. No, but you know what she's doing. Don't leave, man. I've just started. No, you don't have to go. Where do you have to go? Honestly, tell me.
Well, I can't go.
There you go. That's it. So now, my wife, she got armed. Why? Because she's helping people, and my son said you cannot do that anymore without being armed. So she's armed. Not because she's that kind of person. She just is armed for the sake of being able to do good things. Anyway, these are amazing videos. I can show you more afterwards. I want to get into the point of the class of what we're here for today. I came special from Israel, one for Simcha. Thank you Hashem.
Thank you Hashem.
We're making Simcha in Am Israel. There was bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs. I was by Hendon United. I was by Beis Gavriel. I've been going, please God, this weekend I'm going to be by Edgware. I'm having an amazing time, HUK, beautiful people in London. And I just want to say that one, your community is growing and you should be thankful. It's amazing. Even though people talk not good, it's good. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't come to Israel. Please God, Lola will be back. Please God, I miss those dinners we had at Lola's house. All the days back in the day.
I sent a Dvar Torah this week.
Life-changing.
That I found on my computer from a Wednesday night supper in Nookie's house.
Yeah.
Moshe Frankel came, sent a little thing over to the boys, and I'd written it home to my parents.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to get into the class now.
People are just moving their cars because I've got code.
Yeah, move cars.
Okay, move your car.
Yeah, you know what?
So what's like this?
I'm gonna have a 3-minute break.
3-minute break. Move cars. Everyone move cars.
You're blocking everyone.
I'm looking as well.
I'm going to carry on speaking while they move cars. Okay, so I came into London, not just whatever. I want to talk about some important things. Whoever's listening, listen. Whoever doesn't, it's okay. We're all struggling. We're all going through stuff this year. It's been a crazy year. Even this is just a new year for the Jewish year. It's only been like a month or something, a month and a half, and it's still been a crazy year. So we're all going through stuff. This is a mutual reality. You can feel the emotions when you're talking about this stuff. It's a real discussion. But the concept of struggling inspired, that's what we're going to discuss today. Today we get Chizuk from the Parsha. We got Parsha's told us. Yeah, there's a lot of struggle going on. Who between who and who?
Yaakov and is it the Yaakov and Esav?
Very good. See, you know stuff, Baruch Hashem. Yaakov and Esav. Yaakov is struggling with Esav. They're having a fight, a conflict. Yeah, that is okay. We're allowed to have conflicts. It's within, it's without. Everyone's going through stuff. Everyone's facing their demons, their inner voices. You know, I just Minute Shemaim just before I came. my daughter brought on a movie. She wanted to watch something together with the family, and it was a bit of a sad one, but it was perfect for tonight. It was called Beautiful Boy, and it's all about a boy's struggles with drug addiction.
Any
Yeah?
time to turn.
He's
That's
the,
exactly what I'm going.
he's the same. He's the same kind of. You know, he's an amazing actor. The main guy. He was the Beautiful Boy. He was the main. It might be an older one, but he was just recently the head guy in the. No problem. He was the main guy in the Dune films. You know, Chalamet. Yeah. So, Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet. So anyway, he did a good job. But the point was, it was all about drug addiction and the effect it has on the family, on the friends, and it really put me into the mindset that, you know, this is a generation that we are struggling more than ever. This is the challenge. The struggle with addiction. I know myself with the phones, the struggle with drugs, the struggle with just being able to focus. Like, this is one of the things that the boys in the army, they're going through mental and emotional challenges way beyond that kids should be facing. Right? My son was telling me the other day, Shabbos night, we're just having a Shabbos meal, and he suddenly breaks out into a whole conversation about what happened in Gaza, that he was one night, one of the boys there, I'm not going to say all the specifics because it won't be so nice, but one of the boys there just wouldn't do what the higher ups were telling him to lie down on that hill for security reasons and be in a specific position for the safety of the troop, and they need to guard each other and everything else. Anyway, so he wouldn't lie down, and what was the main reason? Because it was basically they were lying on a hill with dead people all around them, and he just couldn't do it. And my son's like, the top soldier tells me to lie down. I gotta lie down. Yeah, I gotta, you do what you're told, and you need to sleep when you need to sleep, and you need to guard when you need to guard. No, this is great. So what we're saying is that this is like life-changing stuff. I mean, these are like young kids, and they don't even like talk it all out initially. It takes time. This is like a story that happened in the beginning part of Gaza, and there was loads of dead around, and you know, there was dogs eating the bodies and crazy stuff going on, and rats and this and that. And he was only now, like a year later, in Lebanon, able to finally talk it out when he's at home for a short moment, you know, on a Shabbos night when it's quiet, and he's still got his phone. He has to have his phone on him, and that in itself is a challenge. Just trying to keep Shabbos. Like, he's cried about it to me many times, how hard it is that he has been, you know, b'koch nefesh, he has to not keep Shabbos. So the good news is, I got a lot of encouragement about that, about not keeping Shabbos for the soldiers. That a few different points people said. Obviously, is pater and this whole b'koch nefesh. Everyone knows that already. But I went to Kabbalist and I asked him about it, and he said, you should know, because I asked him about Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, because he did end up hearing the shofar, as you saw, and he did end up doing a lot of the mitzvahs on Sukkot. He got to shake a lulav. Someone managed to bring one along. Like, there's mitzvahs they managed to do, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that for me as a father, I was looking at this Tishrei coming up and this whole year that he's been through, and I was just like, you know, mitzvahs, you know, he's my son, but went to Chassidish Cheder and everything else. What's going to be with this man? So he said, the Kabbalist said to me, he is on the highest level right now. I said, how's that work? He said, Hashem himself is doing all his mitzvahs. You ever heard this concept? My Rebbe said this to me one time, and to other people, he's told this concept as well, that when you're pater from doing the mitzvah, then Hashem comes and mashlim, does it for you. Now when Hashem does a mitzvah, it's perfect. There's no like nigiyas, there's no... It's a mitzvah shalom.
Is that only in line with serving our country?
No, it's not just serving the country. It's the idea of being Moser Nefesh, for the Am Yisrael, giving up your life to save others. And they need to do what they're doing. Like, you know how many times he's uncovered armaments, weapons, tunnels that would have been used to attack us. How many times he's covered sites and missiles that were being launched at us, and until they came, they would continue to be launched. So it's literally saving lives. When he comes back out and people just ignore him and don't make a deal, and he's wearing the uniform and this and that, it's hard for him, because he's like, I just gave up weeks and weeks of my life, months of my life, and I could have been killed many times, and I gave it up so you could be able to, you know, walk around and have a nice night on a Thursday night or whatever, yeah? And like, you're just ignoring me. Like, give some respect a little bit, like what we're doing, like appreciate it. And I agreed with him. Yeah, exactly. 100. There we go. That's the point. So the Kabbalist is saying that it's the highest level. Hashem himself is mashlim. He said he's doing the greatest mitzvah. There were the words on the caps. I have it recorded. I put it up even on my audio platform. I put up those words on the audio place. You can hear it from the Kabbalist himself. But the point is that these are real times. These are struggling times, and for us to pretend, just like everything's like chilled out. I mean, you want to be like have yeshiva das and live a good life and try be sameach and all the important things. You have to be most nefesh to be sameach in a way. But to come back to where we're at now, it's a struggle. Everyone's going through it. Every institution's struggling. Every individual struggling. Yeah. So the point is a group experience. We're all going through this together. That's very unifying. That gives me a lot of encouragement to know that what I'm going through right now isn't just a personal thing. When I'm in bed by myself and I got my phone, it's not just a personal thing. This is an Am Yisrael situation. Yeah? And it takes me out of myself a little bit. One of the keys to get out of addiction is to just get out of yourself a little bit. Yeah? Ego is the main problem. Edging God out. That's what it's the first three letters. So when we remove that focus on the I and the ego, and we remind ourselves we're part of a group, we're part of a larger story, a community. We've got a group of friends. We've got our sphere of influence. We start to remove ourselves from just what we need to do as an individual, as I need to do. Then you start to think about we. Once to become more we. This is something that Rabbi Lord Sachs used to talk a lot about. We've got to go away from the I generation more to the we generation, and that's something that this war has corrected on some level, especially for the soldiers, the new generation. They realise they're part of a larger picture, and it's a big wake up for a lot of people, the families, everyone involved, all the bereaved people, everyone's in a different. I mean, even a friend. I don't know if you know his family, but he had a lot of involvement with institutions like this. Barak Shechter. Anyone remember Barak Shechter? Yeah. So his wife just passed away, unfortunately, and Eli Stefansky went to Menachem Ovo. Now, I really wanted to go to Menachem Ovo, and I planned to go, and the day I planned to go, it was announced that the Shiva's over, because there was some reason maybe they just did it for the family that day. I don't know what it was, so I missed out. I feel really bad. But this story, thank God, that day, Eli Stefansky in his Daf Yomi Shir said over this story that sort of, blew me away, that he went, and that's one of the beautiful things about him. He's a big Ohev Yisrael. So he's sitting there with Barak Shechter, and Barak turns to him and says, I want to tell you something. I had a dream. The dream was that I was going to my son's chuppah. He hasn't married off his kids yet. All my kids aren't married yet also right now, so I can relate a little bit. So he's having that dream, that vision, and that's one of the visions that keeps me going, the vision of my son's wedding, We all talk about it, all the fathers of soldiers. We all talk about we're going to have this amazing weddings, amazing parties after this war. You have to visualize the victory, the good times. So he was having this dream, Barak Shechter, of his son getting married. The only problem was his wife wasn't there. Yeah, and he starts crying deeply and deeply in the dream. And I don't know if you've ever had those kind of dreams where you cry. Guys over there, no, these guys crying. Hello? It's more important, sorry. Put it down, seriously. Respect, please. Yeah, no, put it down, seriously. So he's crying. Yeah, not for me, for these souls. These are real things going on. Yeah. So the Barak Shechter's crying, waking up, and who's wiping his tears in real life? His wife. And a few weeks she's gone.
When was this?
This was like a recent dream he had, but she was still alive, so she was able to be wiping his tears in real life.
It was real tears, or was it?
Real tears. Real tears were coming out in his dream. So that's you telling Eli Stefansky she's coming, to Menachem Ovo. He's got a Daf Yomi before, Daf Yomi later. But this is Am Yisrael, this is what we're going through, and that's not even to do with the war. Yeah, this is just a beautiful beautiful couple who do amazing things for Jewish people, and now he's in a Avelis, and it's heartbreaking, and there's things going on. They're pretty heavy. So what's the encouragement we're going to get? Yaakov in the end, this week's parsha you mentioned, told us he struggled with this. He didn't just give in. He fought consistently, and that's Klal Yisrael's koyach, to constantly fight no matter what, to keep fighting. We are not miyash. That was last week's parsha, but Parshas Chayesara. Eliezer is one more than Yish. Yeah, I'm named Eliezer, so Eliezer is that one more than Yish. That one numerical value more than 318 is one more than 317. 317 is Yish. Eliezer is 318. He's that one more, that little bit more. Hang in there, and you get through the struggle. That's Eliezer's chizuk. What's Yaakov's chizuk? Yaakov is the one who's fighting his own brother. Yeah, who doesn't have struggles? If you listen to Rabbi Lord Sachs, you see again and again that there's so much psychology. I mean, even if you go to a non-Jewish source, Jordan Peterson, Dr. Jordan Peterson, you see again and again the Bereshit, Sefer Bereshit, is filled with family struggle, again and again, all the inner struggles that go on within families. So it's not like it's just I'm the victim. It happened to me that I have a difficult family. Everyone's going through this. This is something that's in the Torah. It's in our ancestry. We have the ability to struggle with our own brother, to struggle with our own stepbrother, to struggle with all kinds of situations. Bnei Ishmael are from the family of Avram Avinu. This is who we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with Bnei Ishmael. This is our family, our cousin. As much as we'd like to say not, we're part of a people that are dealing with some heavy stuff. But what's the beautiful message that Hashem gives us? Obviously, is that He gives us these lessons, these Torah lessons, to give us the encouragement that this is an eternal journey and we're part of a purpose, and it's just not whatever. There is everything happening in your own personal life, in your own struggles, is exactly what you need to go through. I'll give you some things I talk about. I do an intimacy course for the World B'nai Akiva. Intimacy is a very needed to be discussed subject that, funny enough, I heard a story from Shalom Karvach, and he was saying that he doesn't talk about intimacy, and most Rebbes don't, most Tzaddikim don't talk about it publicly. It's a private thing. But I think Min Hashamayim, if the World B'nai Akiva is paying me to speak about intimacy, and there's a need for it, and the boys want it, they actually asked me today to come and speak in front of the whole program, for everybody. I don't know if I'm a great speaker. You can decide that. I don't think I am, but it must be the subject or the need for that kind of discussion is so important that it's pushing me to do more with this subject. And I think the whole Indian of Yisod, of bris, of addiction, it's all connected. It's all very connected, and we're all going through, all struggling with it. It's not like it's just like the rabbi is some holy person, and we got to imitate the rabbi or look up to him and learn from him. He's going through it also. Everyone's going through struggles in this area. Doesn't matter who they are. And you learn Holy Svarim Kadoshim, and you can hear about Tzaddik and Gemurim, but let's be real. Most of us have a Yitzchak, most of us have an inclination. We're all dealing, if Yaakov had to fight Esav, we're dealing with it. It's a real thing. So I got some chizuk this week from Tanya on this point, and I said it over, and it's a tremendous encouragement. The Tanya says in chapter 27, you can listen to it on my podcast where I went into it more deeply, but anyone who's misgaber, who controls himself a tiny, tiny bit, is bringing down all the negative forces in the whole world. That's the Lashon of the Tanya. The ego that rises above with all its negative energy, the arrogance of the YITZCHAK. And if you picture any big movie like the Emperor from Star Wars, or Sauron from Lord of the Rings, whatever it is that you're into, whoever the bad guy is, in your vision, like the head of Iran, like the guy said before, who went out. Whoever it is, the bad dude in your picture, if you visualize that person and you see it being pulled down just by you controlling yourself a tiny little bit, that's what you're accomplishing. It doesn't mean much. Like if you don't give yourself that encouragement, it means much spiritually for sure. But for yourself, you have to bring meaning to it. You have to internalize how powerful it is what you're doing. And we all go through this. Where we want to be able to be present with someone. Intimacy, a big part of intimacy is actually being there with the person. You can't have a relationship with someone if you're not present. And that's one of the things we discuss, like having face-to-face relationships with people. It's tremendously hard to do that kind of attention. With your friend, with your kids, with your spouse, please God, with your other half, with your soulmate. This is a tremendous accomplishment, to be focused, to be present, and to be able to engage with people in a real way. That's a tremendous achievement in our generation. We're so distracted. So we have to give ourselves encouragement whenever we do it. Because the more we encourage, the more we give ourselves recognition that we're growing and we're steiging, we're doing what we have to do, the more we have koach to steig more. And we're all going through this. It's not just like Ellie Goldsmith issue. This is something everyone's going through. And I know myself, as I said, you're lying in bed at the end of the day. One guy said to me, why do you even have the phone in the room? And he's pretty spot on, that's a good point. But now you have the phone, and it's in your hand. And, you don't have maybe the best filters, or you don't have any, God forbid. And you're in a situation where you just, it's always just going to pound you. So what are you going to do? So you have to make yourself gedarim, gevulim, boundaries. One of the things I speak about to the B'nai Akiva guys is I say, being creative is a tremendous antidote to a lot of this. Finding something you're good at. If you're into art, you're into Spurs, you're into whatever it is, yeah? You're into music, you're into any creative outlet, put energy into that. Create things. One of the things that gives me nachas when I see some of the boys from here like putting out song after song after song, being creative in the studio, or I'm sure there's some graffiti out here, someone did some art, maybe it's from you guys, I'm probably not. Yeah, but I mean if it was, we don't know. Yeah, but the point is being creative, having opportunities to be creative, and that can be something you can do. I write a book when I'm in bed. So I didn't last night, and I said to myself, damn, I could have used that 20 minutes of flicking on nonsense. I could have used that 20 minutes to write another few pages of a book, which one day will hopefully inspire many others. And that at least inspires me anyway. So the point is that we have to use our time. There's so much opportunity to become a master at something, to become a master of fitness, of sport, of exercise. One of the things that's keeping my son so focused in the army is the constant exercise. They do so much working out, they run, they jog. It's so healthy, such a good outlet, and it channels so much of that angst and that energy. These are things that basically give us power to struggle, inspire. So I want to ask you guys, if anyone wants to say anything, what would you say would be one of the greatest struggles of our generation? I've told you a few of what I think, and
I'll tell you something.
yeah, that pornography is a big one. I gave a whole class on, I'll get to yours, I just want to touch because that's important. The World B'nai Akiva, I did a whole class during the Yasomei Tshuva. They asked for an extra class. I wasn't expecting it, and I said, can you come in? We want to do an extra class, like give them some help with Tshuva. So that was it. I spoke about Pornhub and all the online pornography experience. Huh? Yeah, Solomon Friedman. I spoke about him. I spoke about Shmuley Patek. Hopefully it wasn't Lashon Hara, but I would say Ellis. Yeah, to try discuss things that are really going on nowadays. It's complicated, and I'm quite proud of that class. I don't know if every rabbi would like it, but we went into some pretty heavy, details and discussed it. So that needs to be dealt with. Yeah, big time. Yeah, go on next.
First of all,
yeah.
Instead of hiding for the problem, solve the problem that you have. And second of all, Yaakov Klein has a share about in our generation there's something called broken hearted. Someone that's been broken in their life in any area or any aspect in their life.
Yeah.
So in our generation, a lot of people have been broken, whatever it is, physically, spiritually, emotionally, abused, whatever in their life, and
that is beautiful.
And that could
I'll tell you,
sometimes pull them away from God instead of make them closer. And God doesn't judge people that are in that situation because they are broken hearted. And a lot of people in our generation. He
should give the share. Anyway, I want to know seriously. That was good, that was great words of wisdom. I want to say personally, I was working for my dad. I didn't give an intro on myself so much, but maybe because you already know it. Anyway, I worked in the music business. I was working in his factory. I got a James Bond hat. They do merch. Yeah, they have a James Bond shop in town. They have a music entertainment. They run the 007. All the merch from the whole world. I was looking around my dad's house. He's got a golden gun from the movie. It's crazy. They got all the merch, and all the gadgets and all the things. This is just one aspect. So I was selling a lot of that stuff, WWF stuff, all this. That was back in the day, the wrestling, all that stuff. And I was not so focused, but because I wanted to get into, I was going hanging out at the JLE. So I started on my way to the JLE from the warehouse, and this old man came up to me and he looked at me in the eyes. He had a beard and everything, and he said to me, he said, I can see you have a broken heart. I said, yeah. He said, that's the most blessed thing you can have is a broken heart. That's what you were saying. And I took those words very seriously because I was very fresh, very new to everything, and I didn't. That point I probably wouldn't have got if he hadn't said that. And it would. And now I realize it's my advantage. It's a plus in Yiddishkeit.
God, G-O-D, gift of Yaakov shares. That
good
shit is
line,
actually
God of
called
desperation.
The blessing of broken heart.
Yeah, it's a blessing. So there we go. And I wrote a song about sincerity's blessing. I spoke about it there. I really felt that point. Breast of is a whole thing is basar lev, having a heart of flesh. So if you're talking about Yaakov Klein, breast of I do a shir on the Kutamaran. It talks about it again and again. It's shivrei lev, and just by it breaking your heart, it weakens all the forces above. Rabbi Nachman talks about that a lot as well.
Yeah.
Same kind of nakuda. So thank you for bringing it up. But this is what our generation, we can be masters of having a broken heart. We can actually become the masters of teaching the world how to control ourselves. Because Rav Moshe Wilson Zatzal, who passed away recently in Mashgiach, he had catch up with him. He was a Sanik for the son who's in the army, BORUCH MASHA. Yeah, so he said a beautiful thing once, and I was in a Zoch to be there when he said it. He said, "We are the generation that never ever before has the most amazing mitzvah to not go after eyes and heart." And that means in all different ways, because anything, any kind of thing, we get the biggest mitzvah ever in history. Because no one ever has been so challenged, ever. So we're actually on the highest level. We're the Achris Karashis. We are the highest Madrega, our generation. We're the ones to greet Mashiach, Panei Mashiach, because we're the ones most challenged. We're the ones struggling the most from all the generations ever. No one ever had such tests. No one ever had such a challenge in Bechira and every single aspect. To even learn to do anything, to be sitting tonight, Thursday night, whoever even was here for 3 minutes and ate a burger and ran off, that's also amazing, yeah? Because anyone that's involved in anything positive is amazing. And that's what, this kind of program, it believes, I know you live that, and you do that, and you believe in the boys, and that gives them the hope for their future, to believe in themselves. It seems like some of them are Baruch Hashem already on the right path without even, but go on.
Shall I tell you something?
Yeah.
Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was in the sand and he learned for 12 years. And his biggest Yetzirah was to eat a bowl of soup.
Right.
And we as people, we weren't meant to be Rabbi Shimon. We weren't meant to be the Baal Shem. We weren't meant to be Rabbi Nachman. Our Ish Elokit is being us. It's being who we are.
Right.
God wants us
100%.
to be us, and if we are us on our level, that is like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, because God built Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai to be on his level, and he built us to be on our level of Judaism.
Beautiful. So Rav Morgenstern said a little bit like what he was saying, and he said that Rashbi is Rosh Tevis Basari. Basari, have a heart of flesh. Libi Basari. Yeah. So build a heart of flesh. That's it. You're feeling it. And that's before Mashiach comes. It says there's going to be a big challenge also to have a heart that feels something. One of the things I'm sort of shaking a little bit up, some of the family around me, I don't know if you ever go through this, but like they're just not emotional, especially English people. They're just like, my Rebbe makes fun of it. Oh, he's a poor English guy, the English Jews. They're just, not that all English Jews are like this, but he's just like, where's the emotions? Like they're just not feeling, there's a war going on. Yeah, like just some chiyah, some energy, some life. Feel the situation. It's okay to communicate emotions. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean someone's going to take your parking space or your job. You can communicate. It's okay. We can be open. English people I'm dealing with my family. It's like once you get a little bit like fired up a little bit, like it's like you're offending them. No, I'm not offending you. I'm just talking. We want to connect. Yeah, I want to connect. I want to. Yeah, it's okay. We can talk, and we can cry a little bit. We can feel something. It doesn't mean I'm a meshugana. It means I'm actually alive. I'm feeling things. And this is one of the blessing. You guys have a space where you can be safe and you can communicate, and you know that the struggle is actually a praise, as we're saying, a broken heart, but the struggle is a praise. Praise yourself for it. Give yourself the needed encouragement to realize you're changing the world every little time you hold back, every little bit of self-esteem that you accomplish, a little bit of self-control. This is the key to happiness. The whole world needs to know that. The key to happiness is not like P-Daddy parties. I worked with Shine, Shine for a time period. And that he was trying to get Jewish. It was interesting. And I ended up being pulled into the New York Times and a Rolling Stone article, and the Rolling Stone wasn't even that long ago. And I tried to say some good things about him, but they just, the media is just sick. Like they just home in on all the negativity. That's what I was trying to explain before. They just home in on the negativity. We can discuss, but when the 99% of it is amazing, so why even go to the 1%? Unless we're like trying to uncover something for Sir Ellis, But there's so much encouragement that, one of the things I love a lot is independent media, like podcasts, or, I listen a lot to Rogan, all this kind of stuff, because they get to communicate. They talk about real stuff. I'm not saying it's all perfect. It's not all perfect, that's for sure. It's not. Yeah, Trump's not perfect, but if you look at the alternative, Hashem Shemarinu, people who believe in themselves, people, individuals who can communicate and talk about what they're feeling. This is important. This is a plus. When these other people want to control you and not let you speak, yeah, that's a problem. So we are in a position right now where we need to struggle, just like him. Fight. That won him the election. That fight. That's what we need to do as individuals. We can learn something out even from someone like that. And that ability to fight on, that's our generation. That's going to win us success. The fight aspect is actually going to be our success. That's going to be what's going to most impact the people around us, and we're fighting on. So all of you are fighters. Tremendous zchus for me to even come here for even 5 seconds and just be in your presence. And I thank the people running the place. I don't want to say names online, but we're keeping it clean. No. Hopefully my voice overrode that. We're keeping it clean, or we can edit it out. But the point is, that we want to just realize that we're fighters, and the Jewish people are fighting. That's what the key to my son. He really did not want to do this last mission. They're finished. They've too much of a war, and they're pushing themselves to fight on. And people in the community, they organise a spa for my son, the best spa you can get in Israel, for a day or two, just to give him that chizuk to go back. And all these different ma'aseh chesed that people do in the Jewish people, this is what gives us the koach to go ahead. A place like this, a program like this, gives us the koach to go ahead. That we're doing this together, we're not by ourselves. And that's Yaakov is all about building a family. Yaakov is all about building the nation. He became Yisrael, went from an individual to becoming a nation, becoming a becoming something bigger than himself. He went from Yaakov is Yud Akev, bringing the Yud of Hashem, the Chochmah, Ilah, into the Akev, into the lowest places, the Katniss, and then he became Yisrael, which is Rosh Li, became something that's elevated high up. That's who we are. We're people who struggle like Yaakov did, and then we get to the next level of Yisrael. We become elevated, and that's what we're davening for all the time for Yisrael. And please God, we should zeicher. On that, your note, to be blessed with everything good. Everyone here should be blessed. The program should keep growing. It should keep getting the recognition you need, and it should be protected from any of the negative voices out there. Bez Hashem, you should have all the shefa you need. Everyone here should have shalom bayis, and please God, who is not married yet, should find your soulmate and should have intimacy, be able to enjoy the relationship. Enjoy having someone in your life who cares about you and loves you. Enjoy the people in your life who love you. Enjoy these relationships. Enjoy having self-control to focus on that one person that's important, and that one focus moment, and enjoy that moment, enjoy life in a full sense. And please God will be zocher with that to have the ultimate moment of Mashiach Sekenu b'mei b'mei. Amen.